coffee mug shattered against the kitchen floor. Lisa stood frozen, staring at the brown liquid spreading across the tiles like an accusation. Across from her, David didn't even flinch. He simply picked up his briefcase, stepped over the mess, and walked out the door. Not a word. Not a single word. 3 months, 92 days since their daughter Emma died, and her husband hadn't spoken a single syllable to her. Lisa dropped to her knees, coffee soaking into her jeans, and sobbed into her hands. The silence in their home had become a living thing, suffocating and cruel. If you've ever experienced loss, you know that grief changes people. But what happens when the person you need most becomes a stranger? Stay with me, because this story takes a turn nobody saw coming. Emma had been 16. Track star, artist, terrible at waking up on time. The school renovation accident happened so fast that by the time Lisa got to the hospital, her daughter was already gone. Scaffolding collapsed, they said. Wrong place, wrong moment. As if those words could explain why her vibrant, beautiful girl would never come home again. The funeral had been unbearable. David stood like a statue beside the casket, greeting mourners with nods and handshakes. People assumed shock, trauma, the weight of losing a child. But when everyone left and it was just the two of them in their too-quiet house, he still didn't speak. David, we need to make decisions about the memorial fund. Lisa tried one evening. He wrote on a notepad, "Whatever you think is best. Don't do that. Don't write to me. Just talk to me." He set down the pen and walked to his study. Lisa called his office once, desperate to know if he'd lost his voice entirely. His assistant cheerfully reported that Mr. Chen was in a meeting, but speaking normally with clients. So he could talk. He just wouldn't. Not to her. Her sister Rachel visited on a gray Saturday afternoon. She found Lisa staring at Emma's bedroom door, unable to go in, unable to walk away. "This isn't sustainable," Rachel said, pulling Lisa into the living room. "He's punishing you. He's grieving. You're both grieving, but you're doing it alone in the same house. That's not a marriage, Lisa. That's two ghosts haunting each other." David appeared in the doorway, jacket on, keys in hand. "Where are you going?" Lisa asked. "Rachel came to see us, to see you." He held up the keys, pointed toward the door. "No." Lisa stood, something snapping inside her. "No, you don't get to just leave. You don't get to shut me out like I'm nothing. I lost her too, David. I lost my baby too, and you're acting like you're the only one drowning." His jaw tightened. For a moment she thought he might speak. Instead he turned and left. The sound of the door closing echoed through the house. "I can't keep doing this," Lisa whispered. That night at 2 a.m, Lisa couldn't sleep. She wandered through the dark house and noticed light beneath David's study door. She pressed her ear against it and heard the scratch of pen on paper. What was he doing in there every night? The next morning, after David left for work, Lisa stood outside the study. He'd asked her once, years ago, to respect his private space. She'd always honored that. But desperate times called for desperate measures. The room smelled like leather and coffee. Architectural drawings covered one wall. And on the shelf beside his desk sat a row of leather journals, at least a dozen of them. Lisa's hands trembled as she pulled down the most recent one. The first page stopped her heart. "Dear Emma, day 1 without you." She sank into David's chair and began to read. "They said it was quick. The scaffolding just collapsed during the renovation. You were in the wrong place at the wrong moment. That's all it takes, sweetheart. One moment and everything ends. Your mother keeps asking me to talk, but I can't tell her what I need to say. I can only tell you." Lisa turned the page, tears already flowing. "Day 15. Your mom asked me to speak today at breakfast. I wanted to tell her that my last words to you were angry ones. Emma, you're going to be late again. This is getting ridiculous. I was mad about a stupid calculus test you hadn't studied for. Those were my last words to our daughter. How do I say that out loud?" If you're watching this, hit that subscribe button. That's how you show your support for the stories that we tell. Lisa read entry after entry, watching her husband's pain unfold in careful handwriting. Day 32. I saw a girl at the grocery store today wearing your school jacket. Same height, same ponytail. For 3 seconds, I forgot. Then I remembered, and it was like losing you all over again. I stood in the cereal aisle and couldn't breathe. Day 45. I'm talking to you every night instead of your mother. It's the only time the words don't feel like they're choking me. When I write to you, you're still here. You're reading this somewhere. You know I love you. You know I didn't mean it. Day 67. Your mom is trying so hard to keep us together. She makes my coffee every morning, even though I know she resents me. She leaves your bedroom door open. She plays your music. But if I speak to her, I'll have to admit you're really gone. Writing to you in the dark with just me and these pages. You're still alive. Does that make me crazy? Day 88. I heard your mother crying in the shower this morning. I stood outside the door and I wanted to go in. I wanted to hold her. But if I start talking, I'll have to say the words. Emma is dead. Our daughter is dead. I can't, baby girl. I can't make it that real. Lisa clutched the journal to her chest, understanding and heartbreak warring inside her. All this time she thought he blamed her, or worse, that he simply didn't care. But he'd been talking to Emma every single night, writing letters to their dead daughter because speaking the truth to the living was too painful. She grabbed another journal, then another. Stacks of them, going back years, not just since Emma's death but before. Birthday letters, first day of school letters, letters after they'd fought, letters full of pride, letters overflowing with love. Emma's 10th birthday. You asked me today why I don't say I love you as much as Mom does. I told you I show it differently. But the truth is, I'm not good with words out loud. They get stuck. So I'm writing this to you, even though you'll never read it. I love you more than I have words for. You're the best thing I ever helped create. The front door opened. Lisa looked up to find David standing in the study doorway, briefcase dropping from his hand. His eyes went wide with panic when he saw the journal spread across his desk. David? She started. He lunged forward, reaching for the books. No, Lisa pulled them back. You're writing to her. All this time, every night, you've been talking to Emma. His face crumbled. He grabbed for the journals again, but she stood, holding them against her chest. You won't speak to me, but you'll write to her? Dozens of journals, hundreds of pages, and I get nothing? David's mouth opened. No sound came out. Say something. Lisa's voice cracked. Please, just say something. The silence stretched unbearably. Then, so quietly she almost missed it, 2 words escaped his lips. I can't. Lisa froze. His voice sounded rusty, broken, like something long unused. You just did, she whispered. David sank into his chair, head falling into his hands. I can't talk about her, Lisa. I can't. Why? She knelt beside him. Help me understand. Because if I talk about her, his shoulders shook. If I say she's gone, then she's gone, really gone. When I write to her, she's still somewhere. David, she's already gone. She's been gone for 3 months. Don't say that. His voice rose, raw with anguish. Don't say it like it's just a fact, like it's something I'm supposed to accept. We have to accept it. We have to live with it. How? He looked up at her, eyes red and desperate. How do I live knowing that the last thing I said to our daughter was criticism? That I was angry about a grade? That I didn't say I loved her? Lisa's tears fell freely now. She knew, David. She knew you loved her. Did she? Because I don't say it. You read the journals. I don't say the words. I write them down where no one can hear them because I'm a coward who can't. His voice broke completely. You're not a coward. You're grieving. I'm failing. He slammed his hand on the desk. I'm failing her. I'm failing you. I'm failing at being a person who knows how to survive this. Then fail with me. Lisa grabbed his hands. Stop failing alone. I need you. I need to talk about her. I need to remember her out loud, not just in my head. I need my husband. David looked at their intertwined fingers. I don't know how to do this. Neither do I. But we figure it out together. Comment below if you've ever experienced loss that changed everything. Your story matters, and you're not alone in this. The silence that followed was different this time. Not empty, but full of possibility. The last thing I said to her, David's voice was barely audible, was about being late to school, about responsibility, college applications, all the stupid things that don't matter. And I didn't say I love you. David, every morning she'd come down to breakfast and I'd remind her about homework or practice or chores. Every morning I had a chance to say something that mattered, and I never did. Lisa opened the journal in her lap. Can I read you something you wrote? He looked up, uncertain. Day 52, she read. Emma used to make this face when she was concentrating on her art, this little nose scrunch that meant she was completely absorbed. Today I caught myself looking for that face in the house, forgetting for a second that I'll never see it again. But then I realized I'm so grateful I saw it at all. Some parents never get 16 years. I got 16 years of nose scrunches and terrible jokes and her singing off-key in the shower. How do I hold on to that and let her go at the same time? David's tears fell silently. Lisa continued. You wrote that 2 months ago. You wrote about her laugh, her stubbornness, the way she'd argue with you about architecture principles. You wrote about teaching her to ride a bike and how proud you were when she made varsity track. David, these journals are full of love. But I didn't say it. Not enough, not out loud. She knew anyway. Trust me, she knew. Lisa set the journal down. Do you remember her 14th birthday? You spent 3 weeks building that bookshelf for her room, custom made with those little compartments for her trophies. She cried when she saw it. She told me, Dad doesn't say it, but he shows it. She knew, David. Maybe not the way we wish she knew, but she knew. David wiped his eyes. I should have said the words. Yes, you should have. And now you can't, and that's something you'll carry forever. But you can say them now, to me, about her. He looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time in months. I'm scared. Of what? That if I start talking about her, I won't be able to stop crying. Then we'll cry together. David took a shaky breath. Do you remember when she was 7 and she tried to cut her own hair? Lisa laughed through her tears. Oh God, yes, she looked like she'd fought with a lawnmower. She came to me so proud, saying she was independent now, and you were furious because picture day was the next week. You told her she looked beautiful anyway. She did. She always did. David's voice broke again, but this time he kept going. Even with that horrible haircut, she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. They talked through the night. David told stories, and Lisa added her own. They read journal entries together, David explaining things he'd written, adding details he'd forgotten. The words came slowly at first, then faster, a dam finally breaking. I wrote to her last night, David said as dawn light crept through the window. About you, about how strong you've been. I haven't been strong. I've been barely surviving. That's what strong looks like sometimes. He squeezed her hand. I'm sorry, Lisa. I'm so sorry I left you alone in this. Will you still write to her? David looked at the journal spread across his desk. I think I need to. Is that okay? Only if you'll also talk to me. Not just notes, not just silence, real conversation. I can try. It won't be perfect. Perfect ended the day we lost her. Now we just have to figure out what comes next. David pulled her close, and they held each other as the sun rose. The grief hadn't disappeared, the pain hadn't lessened, but the terrible isolation that had nearly destroyed them both finally began to crack. I love you, David whispered into her hair. I should say that more. You should, and I love you, even when you're impossible, especially when I'm impossible. Lisa pulled back to look at him. Tell me about her, not in a journal, out loud. Tell me something about Emma I might not know. David smiled, small and sad. She wanted to be an architect like me. She never told me directly, but I found college brochures in her room, all architecture programs. She never said anything. She was probably waiting to be sure. You know how she was, always wanting everything planned perfectly before sharing. Just like her father. Yeah, just like me. David's smile faded. I wish I could tell her. I wish I could tell her it would have been amazing, watching her design buildings, create spaces, leave her mark on the world. She did leave her mark, just not the way we expected. They sat together as morning filled the room, talking about Emma, crying about Emma, remembering Emma. The silence that had nearly destroyed them was finally broken, not by forgetting, but by remembering together. If you've come this far, please hit that like button and subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to know they're not alone in their grief. And in the comments, tell me, how do you honor the people you've lost? Your words might help someone else today, because sometimes the bravest thing we can do is speak the painful truths out loud, together, instead of suffering in silence alone. Sometimes love means breaking open the places we've locked away and trusting someone else to help us carry what we find there. David picked up his pen that evening and opened a fresh page in his journal. Dear Emma, day 93. Today I spoke to your mother. Really spoke to her about you, about everything. I told her stories I've been keeping locked inside. I'm learning that remembering you out loud doesn't make you more gone. It makes you more real. It keeps you alive in the only way left to us now. I love you. I should have said it more, but I'm saying it now. And I'll keep saying it in these pages and out loud for the rest of my life. Your mom is reading over my shoulder. She says hi. She says she loves you too. We both do. Forever. Lisa rested her head on his shoulder as he wrote, and for the first time in 3 months, the silence in their home felt peaceful instead of suffocating. Grief hadn't ended. It never really does, but they were finally learning to survive it together, and sometimes that's enough.